Now at 5, even after months, Caney, Kansas is still facing a water shortage. We'll see how residents are impacted. Plus, students in McDonald County, Missouri get a hands-on lesson building tiny homes. And
a government shutdown is looming. I'm Cristian Benavides on Capitol Hill with details on how Congress is scrambling to reach a deal before a September 30th deadline.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The community of Caney, Kansas is still facing a severe water shortage. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. In the last 2 months, the city has been in a stage 3 emergency, representing the most critical level on the severity scale. As a result, residents are still restricted to using water only for essential activities. Car washes, pools, and other non-essential activities remain closed. The city's plan was to treat the pool water and send it to the water reservoir for use by residents, but they didn't proceed with that idea.
We had to release any water from Timber Hill. We've had some little rains along that have kind of added to the water in the Little Caney River. We didn't have to bring the water from the pool, and KDHE suggested that we didn't, but after we did the math, it was too expensive to truck it.
We haven't received the rainfall that we had hoped. It seems like most of the time it's right on the edge. It's either just south of us or just out of range, but we are very hopeful again, just like most, that we'll get some more into the area.
Caney schools are also taking measures to support the cause. Besides using disposable utensils when possible, they're watering the football field only enough to keep it safe for players. September is National Suicide Prevention Month, so we spoke with the Assistant Director of the Crisis Services at the Ozark Center, Stephen McCullough, about warning signs you can look for in loved ones. He says a big one is withdrawing from their usual activities. He also says the best way to prevent suicide is to connect and talk about it.
This is a healthcare crisis. We want to make sure we get the people help. Sometimes people are worried about the police getting involved, but the police, their role in the matter is to get them connected to healthcare providers who can get them help and get them connected to services.
If you're experiencing any suicidal thoughts, there's a national hotline that might be able to help. That number, it's very simple. It's 988. Students at McDonald County High School have begun the process of building a fully functional tiny home. As part of their construction trades program, students are taking on every aspect of building a home, including carpentry, plumbing, and electrical work. Through this experience, some students have even been inspired to put their practical skills to use after high school.
Well, I know that I do want to do a trade, so having this experience and all this hands-on experience will definitely help me going forward if I choose to go into carpentry or some other trade.
This tiny home is set to be finished by the end of the school year and then will be sold at auction. Pretty nice day to be out of the home. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it's turned out to be another great day. This is our 3rd day in a row that we've had pretty good conditions. Now, it is warm outside, but the humidity's not too bad. But yeah, temperatures up there. Look at this, Nevada 87, 85 in Anderson, 88 in Welch. Look at this, 91 Yates Center, 94 in Neodesha. Independence is sitting at about 94 degrees. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and Range Line. We do have a few mid and upper level clouds sitting at 86. Feels like 86. If you are getting out throughout the evening hours, temperatures slowly drop back through the 70s and then eventually into the 60s a little bit later on tonight. But a little bit hotter across southern plains, a little bit cooler in the northern plains. This little wind shift line is a front that's going to head toward us, and you can see a couple little random showers. So are we going to get some rain? We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. A judge today ruled Donald Trump committed fraud for years while building his real estate empire. The ruling in a civil lawsuit brought by New York's Attorney General found the former president and his company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth on paperwork used in making deals and securing financing. The judge ordered that some of Trump's business licenses be rescinded as punishment. making it difficult or impossible for those businesses to operate in New York. Calendar rolls over to October 1st this weekend, and that's when the federal government will shut down unless Congress steps in to pass a spending bill to keep it running. But there doesn't appear to be any movement toward a deal that would keep the lights on. Reporter Christian Benavides has more details from Capitol Hill.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tried to pin the looming government shutdown on President Biden.
The president can really come down to this and make sure government stays open. All he has to do takes some action on the border to secure it.
But President Biden released a video saying it's the far-right Republicans that are calling the shots now, and he blames them for the inaction.
I'm prepared to do my part, but the Republicans in the House of Representatives refuse to stand up to the extremists in their party. So now everyone in America could be forced to pay the price.
The House will be in order.
McCarthy plans to bring 4 of the 12 appropriations bills to the House floor Tuesday evening, but far-right Republicans have blocked previous attempts to even begin debate on the bills.
I never give up.
Mr. Speaker, I know that, but you have the vote.
I've got a lot of things I can try.
The House bills are partisan packages that are favored by Republicans because they include deep spending cuts, but they're also non-starters in the Democratic-controlled Senate. The Senate is preparing to pass a short-term spending bill to temporarily avoid a shutdown. But the same far-right House members blocking votes on spending bills say they will not vote for any short-term continuing resolution. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The House Oversight Committee has announced witnesses for its first hearing this week in its impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. The Thursday hearing will focus on constitutional and legal questions. Witnesses will include former Assistant Attorney General Eileen O'Connor, George Washington University Law School professor Jonathan Turley, and a forensic accounting expert. None of them appear to have direct knowledge of the allegations against the president. Still ahead, President Biden on the picket line.
The self-proclaimed most pro-union president visits the picket line. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with President Biden's visit to stand with striking auto workers.
And next in Health Watch, why medical experts say now is the time to get your updated COVID-19 vaccine. Topping today's Health Watch, a study out of the UK shows the impact inflation is having on people's health. Researchers found death before the age of 75 is set to rise by more than 6%, which is 30 extra deaths for every 100,000 people. That's due to a widening of the health-wealth gap. High blood pressure in late adolescence is associated with an increased risk for major cardiovascular events later in life. Researchers tracking more than 1 million Swedish men for up to 50 years found the risk for a major cardiac event such as a heart attack or stroke was elevated if they had a blood pressure reading of 120/80 or an even higher reading when they were 18 years old. Medical experts say now is the time to get the updated COVID-19 vaccine before you gather with friends and family during the holidays. The shots are available free of charge, as are some test kits. Reporter Michael George has details.
Ahead of an expected winter surge of COVID-19, the White House has turned covidtest.gov back on, allowing Americans to have 4 free test kits delivered to their door.
The government wants to make sure every household has tests on hand.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder says the tests will help keep the most vulnerable safe throughout the holiday season.
It's a risk for grandma, grandpa. We just want to make sure that people know if they have COVID and might be infectious.
The late summer surge has slowed for now. New data from the CDC shows there were 19,000 hospitalizations in the week ending September 16th. That's down 4% from the previous week. Another free way to limit the virus's spread, the updated vaccines from Moderna and Pfizer, which are available at no cost.
I don't know how it can affect others.
Ada Chang says she's getting the vaccine to protect those around her.
Especially with little kids in the family, I would definitely get it.
There are some reports that people with insurance are being charged for the vaccine. Dr. Gounder says it's a billing issue still being ironed out, and people may just need to submit their bill to their insurance company for a reimbursement. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
If you have an expired COVID test, don't throw it out right away. The FDA extended the expiration dates of a number of different test brands, linking their shelf lives up to 2 years. All those forms you fill out at the doctor's office could lead to inaccurately reported health conditions. Researchers found repetitive screening questions could decrease the accuracy of patient responses. The authors of the study found compromised accuracy in anxiety and depression screenings of people who were newly diagnosed. They say one explanation might be the repetitive questions chipping away at the information patients report about themselves. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, another group of workers could be headed to the picket lines, this time in the video game industry.
And temperatures are staying warm, but we may get a little bit of rain. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be another great day for us today after the thunderstorm Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday have turned out to be fantastic. It looks great right now. This is a nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but it looks great. If you're getting out this evening, enjoy it. Temperature is fantastic. A little hot, but it's not bad. But it's a little bit hot. Look at this, 90 Iola, 94 Neodesha, Independence, 92 in Parsons. Then you get into the mid 80s once you get out across southwestern Missouri. Let's go outside. Here's 7th. Here's range line. Feels like 86. Visibility is good. Southerly winds at about 10. Through the evening, we slide back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into lower 60s later on tonight. We are going to get some clouds in here. We actually have a cold front. We're not even going to really call it a cold front. We're going to call it a very weak wind shift line that is working in our direction. That's why the clouds have increased in our northern counties, and you can even see a few spotty showers. Butler, over toward El Dorado Springs, Mound City, Garnett, a little bit thicker once you get north of the region. These kind of extend back west of Wichita. Very scattered, very light, but tonight into tomorrow, we can't rule out a couple quick little showers. It's this upper level low across the Great Lakes and this front or wind shift line that kind of sinks back toward the south. And if we go out west, there's not a whole bunch going on. So once we get this past, this is pretty much our weather as we go through the rest of the week, meaning it's going to be pretty quiet. All right, let me walk you through time. Now I'm going to stop this at about 5 a.m. Still a few spotty little showers. You can see northerly winds, southerly winds, so that weak little front is kind of draped right through the heart of the region. As we continue through the morning, spotty little showers, temperatures warm into the upper 70s by noon, and then again during the afternoon, a spotty little shower or two. Temperatures may be a notch or two cooler tomorrow just due to some cloud cover, but besides that, very similar. Still this front on top of us tomorrow evening, couple spotty showers, and then we start to clear out. Southerly winds take control again as this front lifts back toward the north by Thursday morning. Let's work into Thursday afternoon. Southerly winds right back into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. All right, here's your day planner for you tomorrow. 63 to start, 80 by noon, 85 by 4, high temp of 86. Again, we can't rule out a random shower throughout the day. Let's go from Thursday into the weekend. When are we going to start to see some changes? See this little twist here? That has a big dome of high pressure, so it keeps any weather way out here. So let's work through the weekend into early next week. Still big dome of high pressure. But as we get into the middle of next week, finally a little bit of energy kicks out, and that's when our better chances for rain will start to increase. But that's a long ways away, so mainly dry. 86 for us tomorrow, 88 Thursday. We're going to hang into the upper 80s all the way through the weekend, all the way to the beginning of next week. Very boring for Doug. Not much going on. Rain chances back in the forecast middle and late next week.
As a general rule, we like for the meteorologist to be bored.
Yeah. Not me, though.
Well, you might be the exception. Thanks, Doug. Louisiana faces a potential drinking water crisis. Millions of people there get their fresh water from the Mississippi River. But the summer drought sharply lowered the river's water level, and that now threatens to allow salt water from the Gulf of Mexico to contaminate the drinking water supply. In July, the Army Corps of Engineers constructed an underwater sill or levee of sorts meant to block the flow of salt water, but that sill was overtopped last week. Coming up, President Biden joins auto workers on the picket lines in Michigan. Topping today's Consumer Watch, President Biden joined the picket line in Michigan today to stand in solidarity with auto workers 12 days after they went on strike. The high-profile trip to the swing state comes a day before former President Donald Trump plans his own visit with auto workers. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
President Biden stood with striking auto workers on the picket lines in Michigan Tuesday, telling them they saved the auto industry back in 2008.
Gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well, too.
He was joined by United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain.
Thank you, Mr. President, for coming. Thank you for coming to stand up with us in our generation's defining moment.
The UAW has been on strike against Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis for 12 days now. Among other things, workers are seeking a 36% raise over 4 years, and they want to extend union protections to workers at 10 electric vehicle battery factories.
I'm helping to get these younger generation a good pay.
President Biden calls himself the most pro-union president ever. His trip comes one day before former president and 2024 GOP frontrunner Donald Trump is set to speak with auto workers himself in Michigan.
President Biden, Mr. Trump, either way, they have a right to come.
As the strike expands, the economic impacts are already being felt. Ford announced Monday it would pause work on a $3.5 billion electric vehicle plant in Michigan, and some automotive suppliers in the state are warning that layoffs may soon be necessary. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
UAW President Shawn Fain called Ford's halting of work on the Michigan EV battery plant, quote, shameful and a barely veiled threat to cut jobs. Video game voice actors and motion capture performers have voted to authorize a strike of their own if labor negotiation talks with gaming companies fail. The union representing them, SAG-AFTRA, is also representing thousands of Hollywood actors who walked off the job more than 2 months ago. This all comes as the Writers Guild of America reached a tentative deal toward a new contract following a nearly 5-month-long strike. Although inflation in the U.S. is easing from 4-decade highs, financial concerns are raising for many U.S. households. According to a Bank of America survey, 67% of U.S. employees say the cost of living is increasing faster than their salaries. The study also found 64% of workers say they're stressed about their financial future, while 80% of people between 35 and 44 years old say they feel likewise. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at the major funding and staffing shortages facing child centers all across our country. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the continued impact of the water shortage in Caney, Kansas. Plus, how Missouri lawmakers are supporting striking auto workers in the Show Me State, and why a World War II veteran from Arizona who died decades ago will be laid to rest in Jay, Oklahoma. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We've been on a roll with the weather and it's continuing this evening.
Yeah, we're going to have another fantastic evening. A few more clouds tonight and tomorrow. Maybe a sprinkle, maybe a quick shower, nothing that is going to amount to much. And then besides that, temperature is very consistent. Upper 80s. Quite a bit of sunshine all the way through the weekend. Our pattern will really start picking up again the middle part of next week. But until then, just enjoy the nice weather.
What else can you do? Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.